Rarely do we fact check our minds. And it turns out your mind is not a journalist. The Greek philosopher Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Mark Twain concurred with it. He said, "Some of the worst things in my life never even happened." And even though these guys lived about 2,500 years apart from each other, they agreed that we can cause a lot of problems for ourselves from the neck up. Things that may never even come into reality. Again, the problem is not with thinking. The problem might be our relationship to thinking. Since many of us assume our minds are telling the truth. However, your mind isn't all that concerned with truth or facts. Its primary job is to put the events of your life into a linear narrative that makes sense to you. That's not necessarily objective truth. And I want to use this to explain. The part of your brain that connects the left and right hemispheres is a band known as the corpus callosum. This allows the two hemispheres of your brain to communicate with each other, even though they're doing different jobs. Now, occasionally, the corpus callosum has to be split. Primarily, this has to do with extreme cases of epilepsy. And here, both hemispheres of the brain will function properly on their own. They're just not communicating with each other. Now, when this has happened, doctors have told a patient whose corpus callosum has been split to stand by a window and wait. And because that has to do with the right hemisphere, the sensory, motory part of the body, the patient will get up and do that. There's nobody outside. Now, asked to explain, why did you do that? Why did you go to the window and wave? Even though there's nobody outside, the patient will say, "I saw a friend outside." And they're not lying, because the mind is just trying to create an explanation, a narrative. The left hemisphere won't know why the right hemisphere did that, and the left hemisphere is not communicating back with the right hemisphere. Now, it's interesting here, because, as Josh Corder writes, the explanatory faculty of mind often creates entirely incorrect theories and explanations, no matter how dubious. What's truly fascinating is that the patient has no idea they're essentially lying. The left hemisphere's job is to rationally annotate everything and believe its own stories, even if they're made out of whole cloth. And that is what's going on here. Our brains are not necessarily lying. They're not trying to bullshit us. They're trying to keep a narrative going. And for us, we can fact check. We can notice and decide what's useful for me, what's not. We're going to practice that a little bit in our next guided meditation.